Welcome to the Living Centred podcast, a podcast all about learning together how to live lives which are centred on Jesus. Everyone lives centred on something. Our goal is to learn together how every area of our lives, everything about who we are and how we live, can be increasingly oriented around Jesus and transformed by Jesus. He invites us to a rich and satisfying life, where the good news that he truly is enough changes everything about how we relate to God, ourselves, and the world. In each episode, a different person shares about what it's looking like for them to seek to centre their life on Jesus right now. As we hear their stories, we get to learn together and to encourage one another in what it means for Jesus to be at the centre of our lives. This is a journey we are all invited to, and a conversation we all get to be a part of. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, my name's Adrian, and it is so good to welcome you to this week's episode of the Living Centred podcast. And it's my privilege today to introduce Alison, who's going to be sharing. Alison, it is very good to see you.
Hello.
Yes. Well, to ease you in, as I do with everyone every week, can you start by just telling us a little bit about who you are and what your life looks like at this point in time?
Okay, so I'm Alison. I'm married to Richard. I have 2 kids at university. Richard and I have just moved back to Birmingham.
Yeah.
So we were 11 years in the former Soviet Union and 4.5 years in Wales.
Wow.
Yeah, so we just moved back just over a month ago. And I don't work at the moment because I have post-COVID chronic fatigue.
Wow.
Which I got after getting COVID 4 years ago. So that means I need to sleep a lot, like have a 1 to 2 hour sleep in the middle of every day.
Wow.
And I really have to pace my energy.
Yeah.
So having moved back to Birmingham from a rural part of Wales, it's taken me time to learn how to pace myself in this new environment.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I've quite worked it out yet.
Sure.
Just trying to pace how much I can do, what is most important for me to do in terms of aligning with my values and stuff like that.
That's amazing. Like, firstly, like straight in, it just gives this rich window of both like what your life has been, what it is, of how it just seems like there's just lots of transitions, lots of movements. Mm-hmm. And even in the movement to here, we're like, just trying to put roots here for a bit is, but there's still a need to kind of figure out, okay, what does this look like? Mm. How do I figure out pace here? In a rural setting, I can see that. In a city setting, what does this look like?
Yeah. And
I love it of how you're saying, and I want to figure out that pace according to my values.
Yeah.
That's really good. Before I go off on tangents, which I can do, I'm going to jump us then into the big question that I ask everyone from this place is then within the richness of what your life looks like, what does living centered on Jesus look like for you right now?
I think for me, it's an identity thing. It's not what I do, it's who I am. So when I left school at 18, I joined YWAM and went to the former Soviet Union. And like ever since then, that's been my identity as I am someone who's living for Jesus. So it doesn't really matter where I am in the world, what country I'm in, whether I'm abroad, whether I'm back in this country, whether I have a job, whether I was at home with the kids when they were small.
Yeah.
Now that they've left home, more or less, now I've got a long-term condition. My identity is still, I live a life centered on Jesus. I don't know that I've always got it right in the past. And there's nothing to say that what I'm doing now is right. But I think it's an intentionality thing.
Really good.
Rather than an achievement thing. So Richard and I try to put God in the centre of all our decisions, especially big ones, maybe not about what we're going to have for dinner tonight. So right now, living centred on Jesus means looking after myself, actually, tending to myself, caring for my physical and mental health, pacing, so to not burn out again. And I'm really learning to listen to my body. I think in the past, I haven't listened to my own body. I've been very head-centered rather than a whole person. So
Really
now I'm
good.
learning to listen to my body. And I think in the past, maybe I've missed ways God might have been speaking to me through my own body. So right now, doing a certain amount of physical activity to try to keep a little bit fit, quite a lot of sleep, quite a lot of quiet, avoiding overstimulation, but also certain spiritual practices that I do, some with Richard and some on my own. Yeah, it's a kind of a whole of life identity thing that
It's really good.
everything flows out of that.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm in. This is great. This is really good. I love it. Of just like, yeah, what is it like? Well, I put it down of someone who's living for Jesus. It's about who I am. It's about my identity. That's what I'm seeking to do. And then you then saying, and that's look different at different phases. But at this moment, it's so helpful to hear. It's like, what does it look like at this moment? It means looking after myself. And just that intentionality then of how you're living. Yes, there's big decisions of, yeah, God, where are you in this? But actually in the day-to-day decisions of how are you seeking to care for yourself, which is actually a way of saying, Jesus, I'm inviting you to be the one who's shaping my life. And I love that in terms of the intentionality of both your physical activity, your sleep, your quiet, spiritual practices is really, really helpful. I guess just because it's usually my follow-up question, is there anything else that you would add in that kind of helps you at this point?
Okay, so different seasons of my life, different spiritual practices have been main in my life. I guess it's working out the spiritual practices that work for you in that season and then being faithful to them.
Really good.
So it's not like, oh, this doesn't work today. It's like in this season, this is what works. And then being faithful to it, even on the days that you don't feel like doing it. And for me, sometimes there's days where I cannot get up. So I don't.
Yeah.
But if something's going to be lost out of the day, it's something else and not the spiritual practices. It doesn't
really
always
good.
work. Yes, so I'm very lucky to be married to Richard, who is going for Jesus as well. And we do Lectio Divina every morning. So we read part of the Bible, we meditate on it, we pray, then we pray for the world, and then we contemplate in silence. We call that doing a sit. And we sit for about 20 minutes of silence.
Yeah.
And just the practice is whenever your mind wanders, bring it back to God. And yeah, everyone's mind wanders.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not about achieving a perfect 20 minutes. It's about just bringing your attention back to God in that 20 minutes.
It's really good.
It's really grounding for the rest of the day. Just kind of sets the tone. Because I also don't work. I go for a gentle walk every day. I have my Pray As You Go app that leads me, again, in a sort of Lectio Divina type thing. So there's a bit of...
So what was that called? Crazy Go?
Pray as you go.
Pray as you go. I heard Crazy Go app.
No.
Praise as you go.
Pray as you go. So it's either high Anglican or Catholic, I'm not sure. But just find it really helpful. And they follow the lectionary through the year, which is great. I've just started attending Eucharist at a local parish church.
Amazing.
Having been part of a liturgical church for a year and a half, just really love the liturgy. I find it so grounding to be repeating the same words every week.
Yeah.
I know in our tradition, we value the novelty and it being spontaneous. But I think there's also value in just repeating these words that have been handed down to us for 2,000 years almost.
Yeah.
And we're just part of that community of the saints that's been saying these same words for 2,000 years. And I just find that really grounding. So that really helps me. I listen to multiple podcasts, or I should say I fall asleep to multiple podcasts. But I listen to audiobooks in the bath. One day a week, I have a bath with an audiobook.
Amazing.
And I really love the mystics like Julian of Norwich, Teresa of Avila, and Meister Eckhart. And they just
Yeah.
They help me to see the world through a different pair of glasses.
Yeah.
And just seeing that God is in everything. And his light and his love is shining out through everything.
Yeah.
The whole of creation is alive with his presence. Those kind of teachings just really help me to put on a different pair of glasses.
It's really good. I love that. I love this is just going to give me a different pair of glasses in this moment. I really love it. It's so helpful, Alison. What I love is just the release at the beginning of you just saying, it's just understanding the season you're in, and therefore what are the practices that are going to work at this moment. And then you helping us see, all right, for your season that you're in, these moments of contemplation, these moments of quiet, of stillness, of liturgy, which just anchors us and grounds us. It's just really beautiful. And we'll put some of the things you've mentioned on the show notes so people can find them, which is why I wanted to get the app right, which took me 3 goes, but we got there, Pray As You Go. Yeah, the Lectio Divina one, we'll put some resources in terms of where people can find that in there as well, which will really help. I guess then it leads us in, as you've just kind of been sharing a bit about this, but I wondered if there's anything else you want to add in terms of what you're discovering about who God is as Father, Son, and Spirit at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm increasingly convinced that God's not in a hurry.
That's great.
So I used to go and sit by this 10th century chapel, and I was just so struck by the fact that this chapel has gone round the sun 1,000 times since it was built.
Yeah.
And I looked up yesterday when I was thinking about what I wanted to say. Each orbit of the sun is over 550 million miles.
Wow.
And this chapel has done that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I get lost in the number of noughts but it's a flipping long way. And God still isn't finished.
Yeah.
And he could have achieved all he wanted to achieve by now if God was about achieving things.
Yeah.
But I think God's just really laid back about being God. He's so overflowing with God, of being God, that he created all of creation to have something for his love to flow into and to flow out of. And he created us in his image that we could share in his beingness. Like he is being.
Yep.
But we get to share in his beingness because he's got more than enough to share.
Yeah.
And he's got more than enough love to share. And when you think that Jesus was the perfect image of the invisible God, and he came and he suffered with us, like that just blows your mind that God is a suffering God.
Yeah.
Like the image of God is a man on a cross.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It is mind-blowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Man, I already know where I'm going after this podcast. But that's the thing. God is not in a hurry. Like, we all just need to pause and just sit with that. Yeah. Like, God is not in a hurry. That's good news.
Yeah.
It's really good news. Oh, which sadly brings me to my last question. Yeah, how are you changing? If we were to have met you 3, 6, 12 months ago, like how would Alison then look different to how Alison today?
Yeah, I think that's quite a difficult question, actually.
Everyone says that. Everyone.
My experience is that God changes you so incrementally that you don't notice it over 3, 6 or 12 months. It's like when we stay faithful to the practices, God does a work in us that's so deep that we don't necessarily see it. So I'm really learning that God is love. That love has to be central to everything we do, and that I don't need to achieve anything. And I think for me, that's been a massive change over like 7 or 8 years.
No, I'm up for that.
There's still times when I'm like, yeah, but I want to achieve this and that. And I'm like, oh yeah, but I don't need to achieve anything. So I think I'm a lot less driven, have a lot more compassion for myself and hopefully for others.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is that I love. Love compels me. Yeah. Like Hebrews says, we should spur one another on to love and good deeds.
Yeah.
But so often we focus on the good deeds.
Yeah.
And we need to focus on love being the foundation of everything I do. So we were just reading 1 Corinthians yesterday, and I read, if I do not have love, I am nothing.
Yeah.
And so everything is empty.
Yeah.
If we do it of our own striving, if we do it out of trying to achieve something, it's all going to burn. It's just nothing. And, Jesus is enough. But we are his hands and feet. We are his body here on earth. And so it's about us loving one another. And I think having moved between different cultures, I see that our culture is very individualistic.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesus is enough for me. Jesus is my boyfriend. But actually, no, Jesus is enough in that together we are embodying Christ to one another. So that's where I just want to grow. I want to grow in loving everyone and to love each other, love people equally. Like Jesus loved regardless of whether he saw his mother or a prostitute, whether he saw his disciples or his executioner. He loved them all. And so that's just where I want to keep growing. I hope I'm growing in it, but you can never stop growing in God's love.
I'm on board 100%. I think this is really good news. I think it is. And what I love there, if you're saying, yep, how am I changing? Well, it's over. God's takes a long time. And so over time, it's growing in love. Oh, and it's still that.
Yeah.
And there's still more. It's good news. It's really good news. Thank you so much for sharing, Alison. I say this every time. Like, I get to the end of these conversations and I have a big smile on my face, which people listening to this won't be able to see. And my heart is just full because it's just amazing hearing different people's journeys with Jesus and what God is doing. And just hearing what God is doing in you, through you. It's just amazing. I think out of what you've shared, it won't be a surprise because I did kind of put it out there already, that I just want to live this coming week contemplating God is not in a hurry. And that's good news. Mm-hmm. Really good news. How about you, my listening friends? I'm turning to you. You've been listening away at everything that Alison has so eloquently shared with us. What is it that you want to consider a bit more this coming week out of the wonder of all that she's shared? Lastly, I just want to thank each and every one of you for listening, and I want to pray for each of us. I pray we would know more of the wonder of living centered on Jesus this coming week. Amen.
Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of the Living Centered podcast. New episodes are released every Monday, and if you enjoyed this episode, please do like and subscribe on your chosen podcast provider to receive them direct each week. Living Centered is produced by the team at Oasis Church in Birmingham, UK, and you can find out more and get in touch with the team via theoasischurch.com.